Hello BEA beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie Reneé and I am a Juilliard trained opera singer. This is Jansen Puccini, mio babbino caro, Tiende van Tijl. Okay y'all. So, this has been a song that I've been waiting for about forever. It's like a song that is very, very famous in the operatic repertoire. And I'm very nervous to review it because y'all love Jansen, like a lot. Like y'all, my night wishers could possibly come after me and kill me if I say anything bad. So, I'm gonna have to be careful. But she is performing this as a classical singer. So I am gonna judge the vocals honestly and tell you guys what I kind of think, you know? I'm going to tell the truth about it. I have no idea how this is gonna be. I've heard her other operatic vocals. We'll see. I haven't heard like a real operatic piece from her yet, so I'm excited to see that. Wish me luck. I hope that I don't get killed after this. So this is Jansen Puccini, mio babbino caro. Let's do it. Let's see how this is. All right, here we go. Okay, so I have a couple of comments. Don't kill me. This is actually pretty darn good. I was expecting maybe a little bit less classical and a little bit more classical crossover, so I'm happy with that. There are a couple of things, obviously, as a trained operatic singer that I can see that she needs to work on. So number one is breath control. She runs out of breath a little bit on the ends of phrases, so you can hear it just kind of cut off a little bit early. And then also, like, she has a beautiful voice. It's really lovely. I really love her stuff with Nightwish. Like, it's just incredible to hear that with the symphonic band behind her. Like, that is incredible. She's got a great classical crossover voice and she's got that belt that she can use with it. So for that genre, she's incredible. She's also good in opera. It's like there's just a couple of things that aren't like technically perfect. So her breath control, like I mentioned, her support a little bit. There are some notes. She's on pitch, which is great. I was glad to hear that. She wasn't going flat and her vibrato wasn't wobbling, but the voice doesn't continue spinning in a lot of places, like so that her lines remain a beautiful legato that has a consistent vibrato. Sometimes it kind of like spreads out and some of the ringing on the top of notes gets a little bit flat, not in pitch, but flat in tone. So let me give you an example. So that, like, let me turn on my opera. She's singing caro. It's good to have a bright A, but caro, like, it's just missing a little bit of that top resonance space and that roundness in the sound that you would need rather than caro, and that consistent spin. Do you hear that? I'll listen one more time. Caro. So that went a little bit straight tone. She hit the note beautifully. I love that. I'm really glad that she doesn't go pitchy on it. So she hit the note nicely. It's just that you want a little bit more spin on there. So I'm not a soprano, so don't judge me because I'm literally not a soprano, but I'm going to try and sing that. Listen to how she does it. See, so it starts spinning in the very beginning, but then the note kind of straight tones out a little bit. Listen very carefully right in that moment. It goes like, and it just kind of straightens out at the end. Listen, and I'll show you what I mean. See, so it doesn't continue out. Instead of, she goes, versus Do you hear the continuation? It just has to continue in that line. That's kind of like what is demanded of the opera pieces, is that continuation of line and the continuation of spin. It's still beautifully sung. I would just consider like her from the classical crossover perspective. This is coming from the operatic perspective, where I'm talking about like what a professional would have to do in this aria that is a dedicated opera singer, not necessarily a classical crossover. Let me keep playing it. She ran out of breath there a little bit. Also, her Italian, she sang porta rosa instead of porta, ta ta ta. In Italian, the T's are dentalized, so you can't have t, t, t. You have to have t, 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 like t, t, tempo instead of tempo, or porta instead of porta. You know what I mean? So that's the diction end of it. And I'm just picking her apart. Don't hate me. I'm sorry. I'm a like, this is what I do for a living. So if you listen to her here, you can actually see her jaw. Do you see how she's like this a little bit? This is jaw tension. She's trying to keep the sound forward, which is smart, but she's keeping it a little bit tight. And so her ah is coming out a little bit like squished. So listen here. It still came out beautifully, but like instead of like you have to let it you have to let it flow out of you. And I'm only telling you these things so that you know like what kinds of technical things to work on yourselves if you're opera singers, or if you're interested in seeing how opera singers think about this kind of technical stuff, because the whole point is to make singing as easy as possible, as supported as possible, and as like beautifully technically compact as possible, if that makes sense. Let's keep on listening. I mean, she does a really beautiful job. Like I said, she has a good amount of control to make it sound beautiful. It doesn't sound like sometimes singers without technique will sound wobbly or flat, or, you know, they won't make it through the song. But so far, I like the way that she's singing it. Okay, let's keep on going. She ran out of breath a little bit. Andare went straight tone. Okay, so she kind of spread her mouth there. This is actually, I'm talking about this from my perspective too, because I also sometimes spread. She spread a little bit too much without the height in her volume. In her volume? What the heck? She spread a little bit too much without the height in her vowel. That's what I meant. In her vowel. And so it kind of went like, let me listen to what it said. So, because it's in sindarno. So it makes sense. I also do this kind of a thing when I sing high, but instead of she should do you still hear the E. So the E still comes out. It's just less. I just did that bad too. I didn't spin all the way down through that. But in general, that's what I'm talking about. Just the vowels and the way that she places some of them is just a bit too spread. And it's fine to spread sometimes, on high notes especially, but you got to add that height in the vowel as well so that it doesn't just like flatten out at the top. Okay, let's keep listening. She does have a beautiful voice though, which I knew. Nice, she did it under one breath. Nice. She made it through that. That's a hard breath phrase, and she sped it up, which is very, very smart. She spread it up through the phrase. I think a professional opera singer would spend a lot more time and like stretch it out a lot longer because they have the breath control for doing that. That's what they train constantly. But she sounds really, really beautiful. I like the way that she carries her voice and makes it light enough. And like the great thing about her technique and the way that she sings is she hides a lot of the places that would maybe sound like mistakes or like might not sound super pleasant, but she hides them well by doing other things that sound beautiful, which is really good. So like in the high note, she was having a little bit of trouble like keeping the tension out, but then at the same time, like she rolls it down in the next second, and that makes it really beautiful because she did that little portamento at the end of it that made it more legato than you would expect, especially coming from a note like that. So it hides very well. It's really good. Let's keep listening. She would have had an easier time. Did you see how she went, oh, wait, opera, so I don't blow your ears out. If she started out and went, all she has to do there is just drop her jaw because she keeps it a little bit clenched because of jaw tension. See, she almost opens it up. She starts opening it up. It's just when she first goes in, which you can do, but it gets your jaw just locked up a bit too much. So you want to do, so listen to her. That's beautiful. I like her how she sprinkles down. See, the O is almost there, like Dio. It's like a little bit worrisome, and you're like, oh God, is she gonna make it? But then she does this beautiful little port that hides it, and I'm like, okay, good job, you made it. That's very nice. And then the E vowel, that's a great place, even if she's running out of breath, which she was at that point. That's like where you're out of breath at that point. She still managed to hide it because the E vowel is easier to control and manage in breath, and you can still push out whatever the heck you have left, versus on like a more open or exposed vowel, like an ah or something, where you would be like, oh. You can use even a higher level of support past the point of your breath already to continue the sound just a little bit longer. So it's really, really beautiful. Let's keep on going. Again, a lot of potential in that sound. She needed to not like she just kind of shot it out. If you want to go up to that, you have to do, which was very like, she wanted to make that note and she was reaching for it, versus just like a light start. So and notice I spread a little bit. But then you add that little space around it, that height, and that allows you to keep that sound from going, you know what I mean? And has the beautiful operatic quality that we're looking for, that is spinning still and not going flat on the tone on the top. It's still beautiful. It's just like those little tiny details are what make like an opera singer. And you sit in the audience, and when you hear those kinds of things and like they're done well, you're like, whoa. You know what I mean? Let's keep watching. Nice. Ah vowel was hard, you see? She like had a little bit of falteration on that.
Jansen!
Jansen! Is there a talk? Okay, wait, I want to hear the talk, but I also just want to mention that like ah vowel at the very end, ah vowels are hard, so like it's very easy to fluctuate on an ah vowel because it's just so exposed and you can drop your tongue back. I talked about this in another video that I was doing earlier, not necessarily about opera, but about the concept of an ah vowel, and it's very easy to let your tongue drop back because you're trying to relax the ah vowel and let your throat open up enough. But if you open it up too much and then drop your tongue at the same time, that's when you have little falterations, and even if it's a tiny, tiny bit, that can cause it as well. Overall, she did a really, really great job, but that is a hard thing to do, and I really liked her ending. What did she do again? Hold on, wait. See? She let it just trickle down into the da. It's so hard. So hard. To keep an ah vowel from fluctuating, my goodness, it's like... will say she might get some critique about that too, scooping in the opera world. And people have mixed reviews. That.
Floor Jansen!
Yes! We survived! We did it! We made it!
Het zit er al op. De tijd vliegt als het mooi is. Volgende week Clara Schumann, de zusjes Oostenrijk en Pearl Jozefzoon. Tot dan.
Das ist nicht in English. Is that the end? Yeah, that's the end. Okay, that wasn't in English. Okay, we made it! We made it! And I didn't die! Yay! I just wanted to give you guys the truth about what I hear in her voice. I figured that this would be about where she's at, which is great. It's a really, really good place for her to be. I think I saw some of your guys' comments that saying that this was in her earlier years. It says this is from 2013, so I can imagine that she's gotten better since then. But those kinds of things that I was talking about would take some more classical training as well, for sure. I don't know. Maybe she's been getting some voice lessons. Who knows? I would love to see some of her newer stuff that's more recent, because I'm wondering how she sounds. It sounds really, really good. I hope that you guys enjoyed the feedback that I gave. I tried to explain as clearly as possible the things that I was hearing in her voice and how she could make them geared more towards the literal, like, operatic correct way of singing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the feedback that I would get from my coaches, teachers, etc. I didn't go too crazy into it because I didn't want to, like, you know, why do I need to? I just explained the main things that I think would be most important for you all to know, to tell the difference between, like, a, you know, a great opera singer, which I really want you guys to know about and to understand, like, why an opera singer is so fantastic sometimes. And, like, you know, somebody who sings opera and maybe an opera singer herself, but, like, still needs a little bit more training to get to that higher level. Other than that, she sounds gorgeous. Like, I love her voice, and I'm so happy that she's bringing opera into this other genre of symphonic metal and, like, showing audiences it and being so just creative. Like, that's the stuff that I want to do. I want to be able to, I look up to her in that way. Like, I want to be able to do cross-genre stuff and singing and write songs with opera and metal and jazz and God knows what else, and just have it all blend together. And hopefully I'll be able to do that someday. And it was really nice to find this because I hadn't really heard it done in a good way before. You know, before Nightwish, anything operatic that I heard done in other genres was kind of like, it was like, no, stay in your opera lane and then you stay in this lane. And, like, actually now hearing Nightwish, I actually like a lot of the stuff that's there. And even Epica, the Sancta Terra, when she performs with Epica, they did a really great job. Like, that kind of stuff is just really exciting to hear and gives little mixed genre Maggie here a lot of hope for what I can do in the future. So thank you so much for sponsoring that video. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment down below what you enjoyed and what you'd like to hear next, and subscribe to join my beautiful family. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Maggie Reneé Music so that you can join me on all of my adventures as a singer, living in New York City, studying at Juilliard, and traveling the world, taking you on stage and backstage with me. If you would like to support this channel, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon, where you can get exclusive perks and benefits. You can also hit the cute little blue join button to become a member of the Skittle Squad. Skittle Squad, let me hear you down below. Also, be sure to check out the links down below in my description so that you can see all the ways that you can follow me, connect with me, and support the channel. You can also go to maggierenee.com/links to find all of the different places that you can visit, such as my Discord. Make sure you join the Discord. Become a member of the Eyebrow Army, TikTok, Patreon, how to sponsor a reaction, my vocal course called How to Sing Better Instantly, and much, much more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I am sending you all so much love, and I will see you in the next video.